Hello students, welcome to the physics class. In this presentation, we will be studying about lightning arresters and Van de Graaff generator. In order to understand these two, we have to know how the charges will be distributed in a conductor and what do you mean by action at points or corona discharge. The first one is distribution of charges in a conductor. Now, see the diagram. You have two spheres. One is a big one and the other one is a small one, which are connected by a thin conducting wire. Let the radii of the two spheres be represented as R1 and R2 respectively, and the spheres are named as A and B. Now, the distance between the spheres is much greater than the radii of either spheres. Now suppose say if a charge Q is introduced into any one of the spheres, okay, now this charge will be redistributed into both the spheres such that the electrostatic potential is same in both the spheres. I hope you know when the electrostatic potential is same, then you call it as an equipotential surface. Okay, now let Q1 and Q2 be the charges on the sphere A and B, which are distributed over the sphere. So the total sphere, that is the total charge, will be represented as Q, which is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Now the charges are distributed only on the surface, and as we know, there will be no net charge inside the conductor. Now the electrostatic potential at the surface of the sphere A will be represented as VA, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R1. Similarly, the electrostatic potential at B will be represented as VB, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 by R2. Now, since the surface is an equipotential surface, the meaning of equipotential surface is the potentials are going to be the same. So, VA will be equal to VB. Just substitute the values of VA and VB and cancel the like terms. So, you will get it as you know, 1 by 4 pi epsilon will get cancelled. So, you will get it as Q1 by R1 is equal to Q2 by R2. Now, let us come to the charge density on the surface of the sphere. Okay. Now, the total charge that is prevailing in the first sphere will be represented as Q1, which is equal to 4 pi R1 squared sigma 1. Now, I hope you know sigma is the surface charge density and R1 is the radii. Similarly, for the second sphere, it will be Q2 is equal to 4 pi R2 squared sigma 2 squared. And again, you're substituting the values of Q1 and Q2 in the previous equation, and then the like terms are cancelled. We get it as sigma 1 R1 is equal to sigma 2 R2, or we can conclude that sigma R is a constant. Thus, we can say the surface charge density is inversely proportional to the radius of the sphere, and for smaller radius, the charge density will be larger and vice versa. The points to be noted as I told you: surface charge density sigma is inversely proportional to the radius of the sphere. Smaller the radius, charge density will be larger. If the radius is large, smaller will be the charge density. Next, we are going to study what you call as action at points or corona discharge. Suppose say you have an irregular conductor. The previous one was a spherical conductor. Suppose say you have an irregular conductor as such. Now, how the charges will be distributed? As you see, at the pointed end, the distribution of charges is more when compared to the broader end. Now, we'll see what is. So, smaller radius has large accumulation of charges, and the electric field is very high and it ionizes the surrounding air. So, what happens is the positive ions are repelled and the negative ions are attracted to the sharp edge. This reduces the total charge of the conductor near the sharp end because there is leakage of charges. This is known as action at points or corona discharge. Now this principle is used in your lightning arrestor or lightning conductor. Now, do you know what is a lightning arrestor? I hope all of you all would have seen in tall buildings there will be pointed sparks. So I have shown you different types of lightning arresters which are being used. Now we'll see the working of the lightning arrestor. Now this is used, as I told you, it is a device which is used to protect tall buildings. Now what is the principle? Action at points or corona discharge. What does it consist of? Long, thick copper rod passing from top of the building to the ground, that is to earth. Now the upper end will have a sharp needle or a spike, whereas the lower end is connected to a copper plate which is buried under the ground. Now what happens is, suppose say when a negatively charged cloud passes over the building or above the building, positive charge is produced in the spike, which is done due to electrostatic induction. Since the induced charge density on thin sharp spike is large, it results in what? Corona discharge. That is, leakage occurs. So the leakage, that is the charges which leaked out, ionizes the air, surrounding air. It neutralizes the negative charge in the cloud. So the negative charge is pushed to the spike, which is pushed to the spike, passes through the copper rod to the earth. Thus lightning is diverted to ground safely. That is, the lightning is not stopped, it is just diverted to the ground safely. This is the working of your lightning arrestor or your lightning conductor. The next one is your Van de Graaff generator. Robert J. Van de Graaff was the man who designed this machine in the year 1962. Now this is the device which is used to produce large amount of charges, okay, and this is done with the help of electrostatic potential difference up to the volt of around 10 to the power of 7 volts. Okay. Now the principle of the Van de Graaff generator is it works on electrostatic induction and action at points. Now see the diagram of the Van de Graaff generator. Now the construction part, it consists of a large hollow spherical conductor A, and in between that you have a pulley B which is mounted at the center of the hollow sphere, and another pulley C is fixed at the bottom. Now a belt runs around these two pulleys which is made up of either silk or rubber. Now the pulley C is driven continuously by an electric motor. You can see that. Now two comb shaped metallic conductors E and D are fixed near the pulleys, one at the top and the other one at the bottom. Now the comb D, if you see, it is maintained at a positive potential of 10 to the power of 4 volts by means of a power supply. Now the comb E is connected to the inner side of the hollow metal sphere. Now we'll see the work of the Van de Graaff generator. Now what happens is, due to the high electric field near the comb D, the air between the belt and the comb D gets ionized. I hope you know what is ionized. Ionized is splitting. The positive charges are pushed towards the belt and the negative charges are attracted towards the comb D. Now the positive charges, what happens is they stick to the belt and they move up. Now when the positive charges reaches the comb E, which is inside the hollow sphere, what happens? Due to electrostatic induction, a large amount of negative and positive charges are induced on either side of the comb E. As a result, the positive charges are pushed away from the comb and they reach the outer surface of the sphere. Now since you know, if it is a spherical body, the charges get distributed along the sphere. So what happens is, the charges get uniformly distributed on the outer surface of the hollow sphere. At the same time, what happens is, the negative charges, they nullify the positive charges in the belt due to corona discharge, that is leakage of charges, occurs before it passes over the pulley. Now what happens is the belt which descends, which comes down, is almost having no charge. Now at the bottom again it gains a large positive charge. Now the belt goes up and delivers the positive charges to the outer surface of the sphere. Now this process goes on continuously until there should be a limiting value, until the outer surface produces a potential of around 10 to the power of 7 volts. Okay, that is known as the limiting value. Now you cannot store more charges beyond this limit, because what happens is the extra charges will start leaking to the surrounding due to ionization of air. Now in order to reduce this leakage, the whole instrument is placed or enclosed in a gas filled steel chamber at very high pressure. Okay, the high voltage produced in this Van de Graaff generator is used to accelerate positive ions, that is, you call them as protons and deuterons, which are used for nuclear disintegrations and other applications. That's all with today's class, children. Be good, work hard, success will come chasing you. Thank you.